Most people think the more you show, the more someone will care. They believe constant messages, constant attention, and constant availability will make a person love them more. But a man who has lived long enough knows a harder truth. The heart does not crave what it already has too much of. Desire needs space. Attraction needs air. Love needs contrast. There comes a moment in every man's life when he realizes that emotional closeness can only exist if emotional distance exists too. Not the cold, punishing kind of distance, but the quiet, powerful kind that reminds the other person, I am whole, even without you. And it's in that space, in that pause, in that unexpected silence, that the feminine begins to feel something she didn't feel before. She starts to miss you. If you want to understand the psychology behind that moment, listen closely. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where every story and lesson about love will help you find the answer. Today, we will explore a new perspective through the topic, the emotional distance effect, making him miss you. These are real-life experiences and profound lessons that will change the way you perceive love. Follow me, because the most surprising and interesting things are still waiting for you ahead. Before starting, find a quiet place, put on your headphones and relax your mind. Let the sharing in this video help you feel more fully and enjoy every meaningful moment. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Let's begin. The emotional distance effect. How creating space awakens desire, deepens respect, and makes them miss you. A seasoned man's truth about emotional distance. Most men misunderstand distance. They think pulling away means playing games, being manipulative, or pretending not to care. They treat creating emotional space like a tactic, something to force a reaction, provoke jealousy, or gain temporary power. But a man who has lived long enough, who has learned from heartbreak rather than running from it, eventually discovers a deeper truth. Emotional distance is not a trick. It is a form of self-respect. When used correctly, emotional distance is not manipulation, it is alignment. It is the quiet act of returning to yourself. It is the decision to stop overgiving. To stop forcing connection. To stop chasing validation. To stop tying your worth to someone else's attention. And what happens when a man does that, when he becomes grounded, composed, firm in his center, is something most men are shocked to hear. The feminine begins to feel his absence. And in that absence, she begins to miss him more deeply than she ever did when he was right beside her. This is the emotional distance effect. Not a tactic. Not a strategy. Not a game. A psychological truth about human attachment and masculine-feminine polarity. Today, I will explain it to you from the perspective of a man who has witnessed it, lived it, lost it, and mastered it. Number 1. Why emotional distance creates desire. The science and reality behind missing someone ***. The first thing you need to understand is this. People cannot miss what is constantly available. Human nature is wired to crave what has space, mystery, autonomy, and individuality. We do not desire what we already possess. We desire what we sense slipping away. Or what we cannot fully grasp. Women feel this more strongly than men. The feminine heart responds not to pressure, but to presence and absence. To closeness and space. To warmth and air. This is polarity. When you are always available, texting instantly, seeking reassurance, chasing connection, you create emotional saturation. The feminine becomes overwhelmed, desensitized, or bored. But when you step back with calmness, not anger. With poise, not resentment. With dignity, not manipulation. You awaken something within her. Curiosity. Reflection. Longing. And most importantly, emotional gravity. What is emotional gravity? Emotional gravity is the pull someone feels toward you when you are no longer energetically overextending. It forms when you stop explaining yourself too much. You stop overtexting. You stop overinvesting. You stop chasing validation. You stop solving everything. You stop trying to be enough. When emotional gravity increases, the feminine begins to wonder. Where is he? What is he thinking? Why does his energy feel different? Why do I suddenly miss him? This shift happens because the masculine energy, when centered, becomes magnetic rather than needy. Why it works? Because the feminine responds to emotional presence, not pressure. And emotional presence is strongest when a man stands firmly in himself. The emotional distance effect is not about disappearing. It's about reclaiming your center so she can feel the loss of it. Number 2. The wrong kind of distance versus the right kind of distance. Here is where most men fail. They confuse emotional distance with emotional withdrawal. Withdrawal is reactive. Distance is intentional. Let's look at both. The wrong kind of distance, immature withdrawal. This is when a man pulls away out of fear, insecurity, manipulation, resentment, punishment, abandonment, emotional immaturity. It looks like ignoring her, silent treatment, passive aggressiveness, disappearing without reason, trying to provoke jealousy, pretending not to care. This does not create attraction. It creates trauma bonding or disconnection, not desire. Women do not miss men who disappear from immaturity. They simply lose respect. The right kind of distance, stoic emotional space. This is different. Very different. It is calm, grounded, respectful, self-honoring, not rushed, not angry, not reactive. It looks like reducing emotional investment to match her effort, focusing on your purpose, creating space to think clearly, stepping back to regulate emotions, spending time building yourself, giving her room to pursue you, maintaining presence but not pressure, detaching from external validation. This kind of distance awakens desire because it increases your value, your mystery, your emotional discipline, and your masculine polarity. The feminine misses a man who steps back with strength, not a man who disappears with immaturity. Have you ever realized that, in love, moments of silence are sometimes more powerful than 1,000 words? Because in silence, we can hear our heartbeat more clearly and feel the presence of the other person more deeply. Here, I want to explore with you that strength, peace, and stability even when love goes through challenges. If you feel that these shares bring you something positive, please click like to support. And if you haven't clicked subscribe, do it now, so you don't miss any insight into love and maturity. I also hope to hear your story. What is the most valuable lesson that love has taught you? Please share in the comments section so we can learn and be inspired together. Come on, let's move on to the next part with a more prepared mind. Number 3. Why women respond strongly to emotional distance. Women don't miss a man based on how much he texts, how often he calls, how much he compliments her. They miss a man based on how they feel in his presence, and how they feel when his presence is suddenly not there. The feminine heart is deeply emotional and relational. Connection matters. But so does the contrast of connection. Women feel emotional shifts quicker and deeper than men. Here's why emotional distance affects them. A. The feminine tracks emotional availability. A woman is biologically wired to sense emotional presence. When your energy shifts, even slightly, she feels it instantly. If you pull back calmly, she feels the void left behind. Not because she is weak, because she is attuned. B. Emotional distance signals strength. A man who can step back without becoming cold is confident, grounded, self-sufficient, not needy, emotionally mature, secure in himself. This is extremely attractive to the feminine. It signals, this man is not dependent on my validation. That awakens curiosity, respect, and desire. C. Space creates emotional reflection. When you're always present, she never needs to think about you. But when you pull back with calm detachment, she starts wondering. She begins missing your presence. She rereads old messages. She questions her assumptions. She starts thinking about your value. Space forces emotional reflection. Reflection leads to longing. D. The feminine responds to leadership through energy. A man who creates balanced emotional distance radiates discipline, self-control, clarity, strength, inner calm. Women trust men who protect their own inner world. Trust leads to desire. Number 4. The Stoic principle behind emotional distance. Retreat to strengthen, not to escape ***. Stoicism is not about avoidance. It is about mastery. A Stoic man uses emotional distance to recalibrate, recontre, rebuild strength, reset boundaries, regain clarity, protect his energy. Choose consciously, not reactively. He does not withdraw to punish. He withdraws to preserve power. He understands. My emotional presence grows stronger when I stop giving it away carelessly. This is where most men fail. They give too much, too fast, too desperately. A Stoic man gives with intention, not hunger. He steps back not to manipulate, but to maintain integrity. Number 5. The emotional distance effect in practice. How it shows up in her behavior ***. When you create intentional, Stoic emotional space, you will notice distinct changes in her. Women respond in predictable ways when emotional polarity shifts. Here's what happens when she starts missing you. A. She becomes more curious. The feminine becomes intrigued by mystery. If your presence consistently drops without chaos, she starts asking. Why does he feel different? What is he thinking? Is he losing interest? Why am I thinking about him more? Curiosity is the first spark of missing someone. B. She initiates more. Women initiate more when they feel emotional distance. Not out of fear, but out of desire. You'll notice more texts, more questions, more interest, more effort, more emotional investment. This is polarity rebalancing itself. C. She becomes more affectionate. When she senses your absence, it triggers longing. Longing leads to increased emotional softness. She becomes more warm, expressive, affectionate, appreciative, engaged, attentive. The absence of pressure lets her feminine energy flow naturally. D. She tests your steadiness. When she feels your distance, she might test you slightly. This is not manipulation. It is reassurance seeking. She wants to confirm. Are you pulling back to hurt me? Or are you simply grounded? Are you still emotionally safe? Are you still consistent? A Stoic man passes these tests with calm, not ego. Number 6. The most powerful form of emotional distance. Detachment without disconnection ***. There is a difference between detaching, disconnecting, disappearing. A Stoic man chooses detachment, not disconnection. Disconnected, Emotional shutdown. Cold. Avoidant. Fear-based. Ego-driven. Disappeared. Immature. Reactive. Confusing. Hurtful. Chaotic. Detached. Centered. Calm. Present. Aware. Selective with energy. Not controlled by emotion. Detachment is powerful because it creates clarity. Inner peace. Respect. Strength. Emotional gravity. Space for desire. Space for the feminine to return. A man who detaches without becoming cold becomes irresistible. Number 7. Why emotional distance works on both men and women, but more strongly on women. Men feel absence intellectually. Women feel absence emotionally. Men notice absence when they need something. Women notice absence when the emotional climate changes. This is why emotional distance affects women faster. They're more attuned. They're more responsive. They value emotional presence. They feel shifts instantly. They reflect deeply. They attach emotionally. A woman can sense a man's emotional withdrawal in seconds, even through text. And if that withdrawal is mature and stable, she gravitates toward it. Number 8. How to create emotional distance the right way, without games. Here is a roadmap, the mature, Stoic way. Step 1. Slow your energy. Stop being overly available. Stop texting instantly. Stop initiating constantly. Stop pouring out emotional effort. Let silence breathe. Step 2. Reinvest in yourself. Use the emotional space to pursue purpose. Build discipline. Sharpen your mind. Move your body. Deepen your mission. Grow your value. Distance without growth is useless. Step 3. Respond, don't pursue. If she reaches out, respond warmly but steadily. No neediness. No emotional chase. No over-texting. Just stability. Step 4. Preserve mystery. Stop oversharing. Stop over-explaining. Stop seeking validation. Let her feel curiosity. Curiosity is feminine fuel. Step 5. Don't force anything. If she wants closeness, she'll move toward you. If she doesn't, emotional distance protects you from self-betrayal. Number 9. What emotional distance is not. Let's clear misconceptions. Emotional distance is not manipulation, ghosting, punishing, silent treatment, emotional neglect, abandonment. These destroy trust. Stoic emotional distance is mature, respectful, steady, conscious, self-respecting, grounded. The difference is intention. Gameplaying equals insecurity. Emotional space equals strength. In love, sometimes silence is the answer. It gives us time to listen to ourselves and understand the other person's heart better. That's also the reason I share stories on this channel, so that you have a pause, a peaceful space to reflect. If you find this meaningful, please click like and don't forget to subscribe, so that we can continue to accompany each other on the journey to find a peaceful and profound love. Now, let's continue the rest with me. Number 10. Why emotional distance helps you avoid becoming overly emotional. When a man becomes too emotional, he loses polarity. The feminine becomes the masculine. Attraction collapses. Emotional distance allows you to regulate your emotions. Respond rather than react. Think clearly. Detach from outcomes. Avoid desperation. Regain masculine grounding. A woman cannot feel safe with a man who is emotionally chaotic. Distance brings you back to your center. Your center brings her back to you. Number 11. Emotional distance in relationships versus dating. In dating, emotional distance creates attraction. In relationships, emotional distance creates respect. Women lose feelings when men cling, beg, suffocate, over-explain, over-give, over-apologize, or collapse emotionally. But when a man steps back respectfully, a woman remembers who he is, why she chose him, what she admires, what she fears losing, what she misses. Distance restores perspective. Without space, affection suffocates. With space, affection strengthens. Number 12. The feminine reaches out when the masculine pulls back, if done correctly. This is polarity. When the masculine steps into calmness, autonomy, purpose, discipline, direction, the feminine steps into softness, curiosity, warmth, desire, pursuit. Women pursue a man when they feel safe, they feel valued, they feel respected, they feel his emotional stability, they see him building himself. Women do not chase chaos. They chase grounded strength. Number 13. The emotional distance effect in breakups. If you want an ex to feel your absence, do not beg. Do not chase. Do not convince. Do not explain. Do not negotiate affection. Simply distance yourself, with dignity. The feminine begins to reflect more deeply after space is created. If she values you, space brings clarity. If she doesn't, space protects you. Either way, emotional distance is the path. Number 14. The Stoic understanding. A man must return to himself before he can be loved fully. Women love men who are in themselves. Not drifting. Not chasing. Not collapsing. Not losing their identity. A man with emotional independence is attractive, respected, desired, admired. And emotional distance is the tool that brings you home to yourself. Conclusion. The heart of the emotional distance effect. In the end, emotional distance is not about making someone miss you. It is about making yourself undeniable. People miss you when you step back respectfully. Your energy becomes calm and grounded. You stop overgiving. You reclaim your identity. You cultivate your value. You protect your emotional world. You return to your purpose. That is what awakens the feminine heart. Not games. Not silence out of anger. Not manipulation. But strength. Stillness. Self-respect. Emotional discipline. The truth is simple. Presence makes a woman love you. Absence makes her miss you. Balance makes her stay. The emotional distance effect works because the feminine is drawn to masculine energy rooted in itself. A man who can give love freely, but never lose himself in the process. When you stop chasing, you create space. When you create space, you create longing. When you create longing, you create connection anew. Emotional distance is not a weapon. It is wisdom. The wisdom of knowing when to step back, so that she can step forward. And the man who masters this, not through ego, but through inner strength, becomes unforgettable. Not because he is distant, but because he is balanced. Not because he plays games, but because he respects himself. Not because he disappears, but because he stands firm in who he is. When a man truly understands emotional distance, he stops fearing the loss of others, and begins attracting the right people effortlessly. Because the greatest magnet in love is not need, but presence, purpose, and peace. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm so happy to share my lessons about love and relationships with you. I hope you learned something new and can apply it to your life. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for always accompanying and supporting me. Wish you a good day and don't forget to love yourself a lot.